Oh, hello, this is Tak Chung from Walk with Tak. Welcome to my YouTube channel. First of all, I would like to issue an apology to those people who have made comments on my video, also have asked me questions. I unfortunately have failed to respond. This is mainly due to my lack of sophistication in social media. As I have mentioned earlier, my fast cooking system involves 4 different components. The first one is flavor chasing, and the second one is advanced prepping, and the third is stir frying, and the last is template-based cooking. In today's video, I'm going to use this dish which involves green bean, carrot, and portobello mushroom to demonstrate how all these 4 different aspects work together. I usually ask my family what they like for dinner, and so for this particular night, my wife said to me, I like to have some mushroom, and my son said, I like to have some green bean. So I said, okay, I'm going to combine both their requests together to make a single vegetable dish. So first of all, let me just mention a little bit about template-based cooking, because I'm going to use my basic vegetable stir-fry template. Now, I have never cooked a dish with this combination before. I've cooked something very similar, but this is a unique combination. However, with the vegetable template, I know what to expect, so I have a pretty good idea how it's going to turn out. First of all, I'd like to briefly mention of the prep ingredients. Now, I already have carrots that are thinly sliced in the refrigerator, so I'm ready to use that. When I look into the refrigerator, I found some mushroom that has already been cut up. Early today, I stopped at the supermarket and I purchased some French green bean. This green bean comes in a 2-pound bag, and it is an organic green bean. This green bean comes already pre-trimmed at the end, so that makes prepping much easier. I also prefer the French green bean over the regular green bean because they are thinner and they tend to be more tender, and they are cooked much quicker. When I first started cooking the green beans, I used to cook them the way as it is, but it turned out to be too long. So now I cut the green bean in half before I store them in a plastic container. For these 2 pounds of green bean, I can actually fill 3 plastic containers. And for the 3rd container, I actually dice the green beans, and I will show you later on why there is an advantage. Since my son loves green bean, so for this dish, I'm going to use the entire plastic containers of green bean. I got to play equal of the desire both from my son and my wife. So for the portobello mushroom, I also going to use a significant amount. Since the portobello mushroom is going to cook down more than the green bean, so I'm going to start out by using twice as much portobello mushroom. And now I have everything in place. I'm ready to cook. I'm going to cook this dish using my Cuisine Art 14-inch stainless steel wok. I first did a spot seasoning of the wok using my spot seasoning method. If you're not familiar with this method, you can take a look at this video. After heating up the wok, I add 2 tablespoons of canola oil, enough to cover the bottom of the wok. And I wait for the oil to smoke. And as soon as the oil starts to smoke, I turn the heat setting to low, and then I let it to smoke for another 15 seconds. This is the time when the oil seasons the wok. I then add 1 tablespoon of minced garlic to the hot oil. Now, the wok actually is pretty hot, and to prevent the garlic from getting burned, I immediately add the carrots to the wok, and that will reduce the temperature of the oil. I then turn the heat setting of the burner back to high. I quickly stir fry the carrots for about a few seconds, and then I add the green bean to the wok. One thing I do like about the French green bean is that you can cook them to the desired texture in the wok within reasonable amount of time. There are other ways that you can pre-cook the green bean that will reduce the time of cooking in the wok. For example, you can boil the green beans in hot water, or you can microwave the green bean. However, in order to generate maximum flavor, a stir fry is the best approach. The reason is that during stir fry, the hot oil come into contact with the food ingredients, and that generate flavor molecule on the surface of the food. When I compare the French green bean versus the regular green bean, I like the French green bean much better because they are faster in how they cook. And if I have been using the regular green bean, I have to pre-cook it in advance before I stir fry them. My son is pretty picky with the texture of the green bean. He does not like them to be too soft, but he also do not like them when they are undercooked. So he like them they are just about right, with the right crunchiness and that waxy flavor that you find on the surface of green bean when they just cook right. In this case, a stir fry is the best strategy to cook French green bean, because you can constantly monitor the progress of the cooking. When I first cooked the French green beans in the wok, I used to do taste testing often, but now by just looking at the texture, I can pretty much tell when they are done. I find that I usually need to stir fry them for about 1 minute to 1 minute and a half, depending on how soft I want them to be. And along the way, I would do a taste test to make sure they achieve the type of texture that I am looking for. Once I feel that this is the texture that I'm going to settle on, I'm going to add the portobello mushroom. As you can see that after I add the portobello mushroom, the wok is getting pretty full because the portobello mushroom is going to cook down. Therefore, I need to add quite a bit initially. You probably can tell the reason I add the portobello mushroom last because the mushroom cooks relatively quickly and I do not want to overcook them. A mushroom has a tendency to absorb oil, so I'm going to add a little bit more oil directly over the mushroom. Now at this point, almost all the ingredients is pretty much to the texture that I think I would like them. And so the next thing I'm going to do is that instead of using water to steam the vegetable, I'm going to add some rice wine. I use rice wine because I have it available, but if you don't have rice wine, you can use any wine that you like. I purposely would suggest to use white wine rather than red wine. So the next step is to flavor the dish. I'm going to use my basic seasoning mix to enhance the natural flavor of the food ingredients. If you'd like to learn more about this flavor mix, you can take a look at this video. After stirring the dish for a few more times, it is ready. But however, I want a greater or more significant wine flavor, so I'm going to add just a little bit more wine before I finish off the dish. By adding the wine toward the end, the flavor will be more distinct. I transfer the content to a serving dish, and now dinner is ready. This dinner is going to have two dishes in addition to this green beans, mushroom, and carrot dish. Before that, I cook a ground beef dish with jalapeno pepper, onion, corn, and tomato. The green bean and mushroom vegetable dish took me about 6 minutes to cook, and the ground beef dish took me about another 7 minutes to cook. Together, the combined cooking time of these two dishes is about 15 minutes, and I took about another 10 to 15 minutes to gather everything before I start cooking. So the total cook time of this meal is less than 30 minutes. Most of the time for 3 of us, I usually cook 2 dishes. Due to some schedule change, my son was not able to join us for dinner, so I take whatever that is left and make into 2 meal preps. I keep them in the refrigerator, so when he comes home, he can just simply warm them up. My wife really enjoyed the mushroom, and she loved the wine flavor that go with the mushroom. Next morning when I saw my son, he told me that the texture of the green bean is perfect for him. So this green bean, mushroom, and carrot dish is very simple, and based on my basic stir-fry template, you can make modifications to whatever other vegetable you want to substitute. I hope this gives you an idea of how my fast cooking system works and how to apply it in an everyday situation. I thank you for watching. If you'd like to receive notification of my future video postings, please subscribe to my YouTube channel. I'll see you next time.